Fantasy Football Show.
But TAA on Wednesday I'm that disappointed with what I expect from West Ham that I'll take the 18 points from a TAA clean sheet and be done with it. Because we're not getting...
That's on audio now.
Yeah, I know. I'll take it. I'm that disillusioned. Let's talk about it. You can use it in the intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tot&HAM, the weekly show about Tottenham and West Ham. Yes, it's an unlikely pairing, but somehow our paths have crossed, James, and we record a show about Tottenham and West Ham each and every week. My name's Suj.
My name is James.
James is a Tottenham fan. I'm a West Ham fan. We go week in, week out, and this is a horrid season to be starting this podcast show. But,
yeah, I can't really argue against that.
I was thinking at the weekend, because it was FA Cup weekend, obviously you had a 1-1 draw away at Saints. We had a 1-0 defeat at home to West Brom. I honestly was thinking, are either club in any better situation having changed their managers?
Do you want to answer your own question first?
We're not. I'm on the pitch. From on the pitch point of view, the work rate is better, but the basics of football and stuff, we are no better position. I reckon had Manuel Pellegrini stayed in charge, we would have the same number of points.
I think if Mauricio Pochettino was still in charge of Tottenham, we would have the same number of points. However, I think we would probably be out of the FA Cup.
You'd be out because he didn't defensively shore it up.
No, I think he wouldn't have picked as strong a team as he who picks the team did.
Okay, yeah. I suppose is one way of looking at it. I mean, I think we lined up a strong side, albeit there's only 4 positions between us and West Brom technically in the league. So let's talk about West Ham first.
Okay.
73 minutes I left that on Saturday.
Tell us why.
I was bored. My son was bored. I said to you the words I described. I've seen this movie before, and it doesn't. And I know how it ends. We don't score. I can tell when we're playing whether we have the attacking intent and threat to score, and we just didn't have it. I knew we weren't going to score for the rest of the game. I was like, I've paid above and beyond my season ticket to be here for this dross. I just had better things to do in my day. And that's the point that I'm at now. I've got better things to do in my day than sit there and watch.
How much was your ticket Saturday?
20 quid. 15,
fair.
sorry, 15. My kids was
fair,
a
isn't
fiver.
it? Yeah.
It's 20 quid. What? I wasn't getting my value for money, mate. 15 quid and 5 quid. Plus, my son wanted a hot dog, £4.50. Fanta, 3 quid, 10 quid parking. It's a 50, 60 quid day out.
So that hot dog was 50p cheaper than the game for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, yeah.
It's not value for money. I was upset. I was irritated. And do you know what upset me a little more? And this is a separate rant, and we can have another day. You were away, so you weren't at home. But obviously, cup games are not included in the season ticket, and they price them cheap. So you get a lot of casual fans coming to watch the game. I don't have any problem with fans coming to watch the game because you want as many people to get the opportunity to watch it as possible. But some of the stuff, I was going to swear there, that people come out with who don't watch the team week in, week out is so irritating. The people sitting behind me were just irritating as hell. And that was part of the thing. I was like, I don't need to listen to this nonsense and that nonsense and still sit here and watch my team lose. And so I left. I said, I'll just jump in my car. I'll be home by 5:30, 5:45, chill out for a little bit.
I mean, I'd point out at this point that it's not just casuals, if you want to use that term, that are annoying as hell. I had a guy who regularly sits a couple of rows behind me at the Norwich game last Wednesday, who spent the majority of the game shouting, "Liven up, it's only Norwich City." Yeah. Which, when you think about that, is the most contradicting sentence. Like, seriously. So you...
Take it easy because it's Norwich, or liven up because they're hard. What are you talking
exactly.
What do you want to happen, man?
Unbelievable. How can you have that attitude and expect the players on the pitch to put more effort in when that's your attitude? It's only Norwich City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were poor at the weekend. Playing with Manuel Lanzini's, like I said, playing with 10 men Carlos Sanchez is playing with 9 men. Playing with Haller is another half gone, so so we're now down to 8.5 players. So West Brom, well done, you did deserve to win, but you were playing against 8.5 players at best. It was a poor performance. Balbuena has generally historically been all right on the ball. Last season he could play it out from the back and was a calm, kind of assured player. This season, you saw the mistake against Sheffield United when he turned badly.
He's still turning, isn't he?
4 and 5 yard. He was missing 4 and 5 yard passes to unmarked players.
Yep.
I mean, at that point, I can't help you. I can't help you in any way, shape, or form. Lanzini was non-existent. Carlos Sanchez was casual, jogging around the park, mate. I would have covered more yards in that first half, and I hardly keep up. I go to the gym, but I'm not fit, mate. But I'll cover more yards.
I just run a marathon every year.
Every 5 years. It was like, hang on, they're attacking, you're tracking back, jogging. Like, come on, mate. Put a bit of a shift in. The only thing I would say, let's take a few positives. Like the changes that Moyes made at halftime were the right changes. Sanchez, Balbuena had bad games. They were the right players to bring off for Noble and Ogbonna.
And he also hooked Fornals at halftime as well, right?
That was not good. I would have taken Lanzini off and kept Fornals on, because Fornals is actually, he puts a bit of a shift in compared to Lanzini. For Antonio did have to come on. That was it. There are no other positives that I can take from it. We couldn't put together passes that were 5 to 10 yards. I've seen this story before, and we end up relegated at the end of the season. And the thing is, with clubs like Watford, Norwich, Villa, Bournemouth, they have, I believe Watford think they can get out of it because they've got a bit of momentum. Norwich have an identity and style of play which is good football, and they'll stick to their principles. And I think the fans will forgive them if they stick to their principles and play good football. Bournemouth historically have got a bit of good pedigree and they can get out of it. Aston Villa have got a star man in Grealish, even McGinn when he gets back, and Mings, and a handful of players that can drag them through. I don't know what we have. We don't have a style of play. We don't have a talisman other than Antonio, and I can't rely on his fitness to get us out of it. And up front, Haller is awful at the moment. He's not got anything going for him. I don't know what we have that's going to be that light that I'm clinging on to drag us out of it. There isn't anything. And the way teams cut us open from time to time is bad. I feel like I'm a moany, negative person here, but I've seen this before. We're just not good enough. And you look at the likes of Rice and Snodgrass who put a shift in. I feel for them because they're really trying. A couple of players are really trying. I can't fault their work rate. But so be it. I mean, Noble's post-match interview on TalkSport, he was very accurate. It's not good enough. And we can't rely on the likes of him to be coming off the bench.
How many times is that going to be acceptable, mate?
It's not acceptable.
It's Declan Rice every week in front of a camera. We must do better. We must do better.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I don't know what would be different. We had that game against Bournemouth that I went to. I was gushing after it. I thought everything was right. The way we played, the way we set up, the work rate, the pressing, Anderson up top for the free roll. We haven't done it since. Like 5-6 games, every game since then, we haven't done what we did in the Bournemouth game. It's like a one flash in the pan and done. So I don't know what I'm clinging on to here. And it's a spiral. And we're in this spiral. It's not looking good at all.
I think what's scary, and I actually don't want to kick you while you're down.
I don't mind.
No, there's no point. What's scary, I think, for West Ham is in comparison to the other clubs, the other 4 you mentioned, plus Brighton, if we say there's a 6 in the scrap at the moment, is there are positives around all of the others.
That's what I'm saying. They've got some momentum or something they're clinging on to. We ain't got nothing.
There is something around your football club at the moment which I think is bigger and... disease is not the right word necessarily, but something's not right within the football club, and it goes beyond team players, David Moyes, it goes to the top. Did you watch of any of what was said on Sunday Supplement?
I didn't. I do need to watch it. One of the things you did say, watch it. In terms of an analysis, look, I've heard all sorts about Gold and Sullivan being in it for profit. There's some tax stuff until 2023 that they will sell the club after that, and they won't have to pay some tax or something or other. They've put their hand in their pocket, though.
You say that, right? But one of the comparison, forgive me, I've only seen clips of the journalists who were on that programme Sunday morning on Sky. One of the things they were saying is that your training ground...
Yeah, Rush Green is a dog's
is laughable. Like, there are clubs in League One with far better facilities than yourself. So you've got a football stadium that's rented.
Yep.
You've done nothing to the training ground. So all they've done, when we say, they've invested money... They've invested a proportion of the money that they're inevitably getting from increased revenue from their rented stadium and television and sponsorship money.
Yep.
So they're not spending the money.
They're not putting their hands in their own pocket. No, I can understand that. The training ground is a fair point. I don't know enough about it, but I've heard a lot of people saying that Rush Green is garbage now.
Some of it's still porter cabins, apparently. That's...
It'd be bizarre if that was the case, but if it is, it is.
How can it be?
Yeah.
In
people
are saying yes,
age,
it is true. When you bring, the first thing Spurs do when they try and buy a player is take them to a training ground.
Well, your new facility with the hotel and everything is like luxury spa, mate.
Yeah, and I realised that what I'm comparing to in terms of Spurs training ground is it's 5-star. In terms
it
of
doesn't
training
need to be that, but it needs to be something.
Yours is like a 2-star, is what we're saying. It's not acceptable to be a Premier League club and be less than like a 4-star, right? And working on it.
It's not even like, okay, call us a Premier League club. We're in the top 20 revenue generators in Europe, and have a garbage training ground.
That's part of the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there any even plans for that training ground? Does anybody care?
I have no idea, mate. At the moment, it's not good, and this ends in one way, which is relegation. Plus, then we will lose a bunch of players. I don't think it's necessarily.
I don't think you will lose a bunch of players because I don't see who in your squad people would want to particularly buy. Yeah, Rice. Rice will go. Antonio.
I think the likes of Haller and Anderson, European clubs might come in for. And I think some European clubs might come in and say, you know what, we can pick these guys back up on cheaper than, say we bought them for 40s, they might offer 25s to 30s and take them away and reinvigorate their career. So I could see those guys leaving. But you're right, the likes of the bad buys that are journeymen now that are hanging around the squad, Carlos Sanchez, that boy Jack, and so on and so on. No one's coming in for them. Not at all.
Jack. Jack's biggest commitment to West Ham season so far has been jumping out of a washing machine and trying to frighten Declan Rice. That's his biggest commitment to your season so far. Are you aware of any transfer?
What was your bet with Sham again? That he wouldn't play more than was it 600 minutes?
No. Me and Sham, we had from Two Guys One Cup.
Yeah,
we had a bet pre-season. Yeah, he was banging on. He thought Wilshere could be an FPL asset.
Yeah,
and I said,
how many points or something?
How many points do you want, Jack Wilshere, to get FPL points, and I'll take your money?
Yeah.
And he said, I reckon he'll get 90. I said, I'll do you a favour, mate. I'll give you 80. That's how confident I am. Was he on about 6 or something?
It's not even going to be double digits. At the time, if you'd asked me, because he was getting minutes at the start of the season, I would have backed Sham at 80 points. I think that's a very low benchmark to set. Looking at it now,
when he'd historically, even in his peak at Arsenal, never hit that total.
I think he'd had a 100-point season.
No, his highest ever at Arsenal was in the 70s.
There you go. Looking at it now, I mean, it's a good bet to have made.
Well, I'm well aware. That's why I made it.
Yeah, I mean, there are problems here. There's apathy now. I've got somewhere to be on Saturday, and I can get out of it to make my way to the Brighton game, but it's a lot of effort getting down to the ground an hour early, parking, security. It's cold and wet. They're taking my money. You're not giving me anything back here. I understand you support. There's different levels of support. You'll never miss a game for your club. I just it is what it is. Having said that, there's no chance.
I'm very meh and I keep going.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss Liverpool game on Wednesday. Like you said to me, you got somewhere else to be. You're going to have dinner with 8 Victoria's Secret models.
That's because you've got triple captaincy on Trent.
Yeah, but Brighton, man, I'm missing a couple of games in April because I'm on holiday with the family against Chelsea, man. So be it. I'm missing the Burnley game for a family wedding. I'm not bothered now. I don't feel like taking my son. It's dull. It's boring. What am I trying to even explain to him? I'm trying to give him commentary through the game so he understands what's going on. It's dull, man. It's really not good at the moment. It's not good, and nothing's changed. We had that one game against Bournemouth, which was really good. Nothing else since. I don't know where Moyes stands on it, what his situation is. So it was bad on the weekend. We couldn't put passes together, and the same problem that we had against Everton, our attacking threat was non-existent. Lanzini, I don't know why he keeps picking him.
What's happened to him?
I don't know. He's got nothing.
Is there rumours of any incomings? Because I heard a very interesting name get mentioned over the weekend.
There's always rumours. I don't read.
Do you think they'll do anything?
No.
Wow. You know who who the name was I heard mentioned over the weekend?
Who did you hear?
It was Pyatt.
That got deaded as quick as it got mentioned on what I saw on social media. As soon as it got mentioned, there were a load of the regular accounts like X and all that just saying this is nonsense, it's never going to happen.
In hindsight, just quickly, do you think that Slaven Bilic got stitched up purely on what happened with Dimitri Payet? Do you think that finished him? Looking back on it,
no, we weren't playing good football, particularly then either. It's been so much of the sameness for the last 2-3 years. Hasn't really gotten better. That's the last season up. The Upton Park was probably as good as we've had consistently for a whole season. Remember, we were 6th after however many games.
Told you had top 4 in your hands with 3 games to go, mate.
I don't know what's happening here now, but it's not good. And now I'm just resigned to, I don't know how Huddersfield fans felt like halfway through the season when it was pretty obvious they were going down. This is how I feel because I've seen this before.
It's not, Suj. You're over-egging it, mate.
I'm basing it on evidence and facts. This is not an emotional negative outburst. I just don't see. We're not going to be scoring goals.
You have 14 games to go. 4 wins will probably be enough.
We've got to play Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, Liverpool twice, City. That's 6 games.
Yeah, you've got to take advantage of like Brighton at home on Saturday and stuff like that. And I know what you're saying about some of them away games, but I know that you'll turn up at White Hart Lane. I know that you'll turn up at the Emirates.
Yes, I haven't seen that. I haven't even seen that this season. I haven't even seen us turn up for the big games.
So you haven't seen yourself win 1-0 at Stamford Bridge?
No, I didn't actually watch that game. 3 o'clock Saturday.
Well, then that's the missing link. Okay, don't watch the game.
We beat United at home. United were
pony.
The worst that I've seen. Apart from that, it's the Chelsea game. We weren't good against you.
So you're capable of winning these fixtures, is what I'm saying.
Bent over for Arsenal in the second half. It's just not happening.
You were in complete control for an hour.
Reasonable control for an hour.
Well,
we only scored 1 goal.
They weren't in the game.
Nah. The problem is we only put 1 goal away. We couldn't finish it off. I'm concerned here.
Well, I get that, and that's fair enough.
I'm concerned.
But don't write yourself off, mate.
No, I haven't. And I'll still be, if I can go, I'm going to go week in, week out. I'm not going to take my son, though. Not till it gets warmer and the weather's a bit better.
All right. Fair enough.
You trekked down to Southampton.
Yeah, it's not much of a trek, is it?
No. Wasn't a bad old trip.
Yeah, do you know, it's always friendly enough going down to the South Coast clubs. You never have to kind of worry that it's going to be like in the local pubs or anything and intimidating or anything. It's not. The Saints fans are fine. Result was probably about right. I've seen worse days from Spurs. I've definitely seen better days. Southampton territorially basically had the whole game. Mm-hmm. But Spurs took advantage. This might be something more to watch out for Southampton in the coming weeks. Spurs kept counter-attacking through central areas, through their midfield, which was surprising how much we've praised.
Did they play Ward-Prowse and Højbjerg?
Yeah, both. I was going to say praise those two. The only changes they made was Danso played at fullback and changed keeper. Angus Gunn played in goal. And they've been rotating who plays with Danny Ings anyway up front. Yeah. It was Obafemi in this game. He's a powerful he's a midget, but he's a little
stocky guy,
little tank. Yeah, He's got a bit of talent there potentially. So, but Southampton were, as much as they were dominating the ball, they looked vulnerable, central areas, and it wasn't a case of attacking. And you would think maybe with like Son on the flank, it would constantly be attacking in wide areas. No, it was just cutting them straight through the middle. Dele Alli wasn't great again, but was effective in his role during this game.
Yep.
And the change in positivity for Spurs happened really when he started with Harry Winks, who I assumed when we recorded on Friday was going to be out for months with the injury he had against Norwich, played, much to my shock. He played Winks and Jedson Fernandez as a central midfield too. Fernandez did okay, but was very quiet. But as soon as he brought Lamela on and moved Lo Celso back centrally, for 10 minutes it was on, and I thought we could take the game away from them. Lo Celso was fantastic again.
Is he a straightforward, easy replacement for Christian Eriksen now then? Is he going to step into that playmaker, creating the chances on the ball?
Potentially. At the moment, he's going to need to play in a deeper position because we just haven't got the numbers in central midfield positions.
And Ali's
But I feel like in these two fixtures, he's now shown, and yes, okay, it's Norwich, Southampton, and as I just said, Southampton's vulnerability to a counter-attack in central areas. He's shown that like he's got the commitment to play in there. He's not the strongest. His role in the goal on Saturday is wonderful. The fact that you can receive the ball back to goal, be strong enough and brave enough to turn past people, and then go at people, and then just release a simple ball. To be honest, it's the first time I see a Spurs player do that since Dembele left.
Yeah.
And that's the gold in me thinking, oh, wow, maybe we have got a central midfield player. Long way to go, but he's got to play in that position now. He needs to give Lo Celso and Winks a run of games together to get to know each other. I said this last week, that we're evolving to more of a 4-3-3, which would probably mean Lo Celso on the right of a 3, and then it's really up to Ndombele to claim the place on the other side. He was on the bench at the weekend. I think that's where he wants to go, and then it's a 3 up front. We believe there's a new player coming in, Steven Bergwijn, winger from PSV Eindhoven for around about £25 million. He's a full Dutch international. Looks quick, very direct. You see clips of him on YouTube. He does have a bit of the Adama Traore about him. I'm not comparing the two players. And going and looking at footballers on YouTube is never a good idea because they'll never be as good as they look. It's an interesting one because it's not a position. It's a position we need to fill, but it's not a priority position. So that's an interesting one. Lucas and Son. Lucas played the majority of the game up front. He did occasionally switch positions with Son during the game, particularly later in the second half. But the manager's not happy with either of them in that position. He favours Lucas there because Lucas got more fight in him. That Son won't win anything unless it's a ball over the top.
Yeah.
This wasn't the worst. It was okay. Defensively, one of the things I was looking for going late into the game was, all right, show me where your credentials are. It's 1-0 away from home.
Yeah.
We've conceded possession whole game. It's fair enough. That's what you're doing tactically. It's okay. Hold on to the lead. I mean, the chances just kept coming. It was never sitting there thinking, we're safe here.
Right.
So, and now we've got a replay in the middle of the winter break.
20 quid a ticket.
Which is now
again.
not a winter break.
Lovely job.
I don't know what the ticket. I assume it's 20 quid.
Yeah.
Fair game to Southampton. My ticket on Saturday was £10.
That's decent.
Was decent. Got trains return for about 30 quid. Can't knock that for a day out. 40 quid. And a nice easy one to get to. It wasn't the worst. I went home obviously disappointed that we hadn't seen the game out and finished it off. And I'm annoyed that I have to go and do another weeknight game. But if you'd have offered me that before the game, I probably would have taken it because they're on a great run.
They
Can't
have been
forget
playing
that.
particularly
Can't
well.
just look at it on paper and go Southampton. They've been one of the form horses in the league. They went very strong. Both teams went strong. Yeah, it was probably just about right. Certainly on chances it was right in spite of Southampton territorially dominating the game.
There was one name that I saw mentioned on Twitter. Our friend Koen Karam in Holland mentioned him. He said that now, because he's on wildcard, he'd seen enough from Sonny to fire him straight in. A lot of people with Mane injured, potentially. We don't know the full extent. The obvious move from that is Mane to Salah, but you may want to save a couple of million quid to spend elsewhere, maybe getting an Aguero instead of an Aubameyang or whatever. Enough from Sonny yet?
Not for me.
No, you wouldn't fire him. If you had that, if you are a Mane owner, you think the sideways move to Salah is the much more straightforward, safe, easy option than trying to save 2 million?
I think we'll see where we sit with that on Friday, but my instinct at the moment is that I possibly wouldn't even do that.
just hold out Mane until he's back.
Maybe.
I mean, you ain't got a choice until Thursday or Friday. It's not going to affect this game.
Yeah.
So
Nothing to do
you
about
may
that.
as well hold out for as much information as you possibly can get. Yeah, no doubt about that.
No, Son, no chance for me.
No.
None. Zero possibility of me buying Heung-min Son for this game week. None. Not interested. He's not. I know he's now scored in the last 2, and the goal he scored was more the sort of typical Son goal, if you like, rather than a header from a yard. But I don't think he's playing great, mate.
No.
I really don't.
The other,
And also, if Bergvin comes in, he's a left-sided player as well. So does it mean Son goes on the right? Again, we're in that position where I wouldn't know positionally at the moment where he's going to play. I mean, Son's obviously going to play. No one's questioning that.
I mean,
But where he's going to play, I don't know. I don't like him off the right.
no.
Absolutely say that with certainty.
I mean, ideally, you want him right up top with Harry Kane as a striker.
Where I
something.
prefer him playing is where he's playing now. He's on the left. I just feel at the moment, for Spurs at the moment...
No left back means
in
he's not
terms of-
free, is he?
Well, that's the issue. So, like, Tanganga played left back on Saturday, and probably him, Aurier, and Lo Celso would have freed to come out of the game with credit. That said, Aurier was great for 85 minutes. It was still his calamity for the equalising goal that gave the ball away. Tanganga defensively was very good again at left back, but he's never going to support Son. If Son's going to play on the left, he's getting no support in that position. So essentially, the only way for him to get in is us winning the ball high and quickly, or breaking through lines in the way that Lo Celso did for the goal on Saturday. So it's just not an appeal for me, because you've got to remember, it's little things like what we think of when you think of Son and his goals. You think about that stepping inside and the curling, whether it's from left to right or right to left. He loves that curler into the far corner, doesn't he? For him to make that inside, he's got to have an overlapping run. It's got to be something on the outside, or people are just going to force him that way.
Yep.
So at the moment, there's only a small amount of circumstances where it's on for Heung-min Son. So from an FPL perspective, not a consideration for me. Lucas out of position, it's cheap, but don't see the goals in him. Dele Alli, I've already said, it was a bit better Saturday, but avoid. Lo Celso too deep to be a consideration.
Yep.
Spurs just a complete avoid. The one that would maybe tempt me if he got a consistent run is actually Lamella because of the price, but again, too many question marks and injuries, etc.
Difficult.
Spurs are just, from an FPL perspective, a blanket avoid for me.
Yeah. I saw my cousin yesterday, who's a season ticket holder like you, not as diehard as you, but a season ticket holder. He said to me, and I think it's not too you might feel the same. He said, at least you've got a relegation battle to worry about. I was like, what are you on about? He goes, well, we got nothing now this season. It's done. We're not getting in the top 4 or top 5 or whatever.
Well, the season's still on because we drew on Saturday.
Yeah, the cup's the only thing going now, and he doesn't.
The replay,
it doesn't really excite him.
The replay's no given.
No
given at all. Red Bull Leipzig in the Champions League is going to be an incredibly tough fixture.
Yeah,
you'd probably make them with their. I know they lost at Frankfurt at the weekend, but you'd make them favourites in that tie, I would say. And then even if we win, I mean, what we walk into, whoever we walk into again would be massive favourites. So no,
it's a tough.
Mourinho had said, or he who picks the team, should I correct myself and say.
He took a bit of time to get used to that.
Yeah, he said on Friday that there was every chance he'd play Troy Parrott, the young 17-year-old forward. Wasn't even on the bench. I was saying to people on Friday, he's taking the piss. There's no way he's not picking the team that he thinks is the strongest and most capable of winning, because he's desperate to try and knock that off quickly.
The trophy.
The problem with
you mean?
For us to win the FA Cup, we need to have good draws. And we need to beat Southampton first anyway. But, you know, we walk into the 5th round, even playing Liverpool's kids, I'd be petrified at the moment.
Difficult times. But you know what? We can't change our football teams.
Never do that,
I went to a family, my cousin's 18th birthday. That's why we were all around the table yesterday. And I got the question, how's your weekend? And I just went into it. Rubbish. We've got a crap football team, crap stadium, crap fans, crap players, crap managers, crap everything, owners, everything.
I was watching.
And my cousin, who doesn't really know much of football, was why don't you just change teams? And my wife standing next to me, I was like, I can change my woman quicker than I change my football team.
No doubt about it.
Honestly, you can't change your team, man. So yeah, there we go.
It's only two things you can't change in life: as your football team and your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wife can go. Or
Everything else has a price, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was watching my other half. She likes pointers.
Okay.
Which for the foreign listeners might not know is it's a quiz show on BBC One in England.
Yeah.
And there was West Ham fans on the other day. It says, tell her about West Ham. You happy? And I don't know how long ago this was recorded, but you happy with things at the club at the moment? And the guy just went, no. It's like, okay, let's switch on here.
Let's move on to,
so Alexander Armstrong is the host. Says, so why not? And he just started going into one on the stadium.
Yeah.
And it was the sort of thing which I think would normally just get cut out of this sort of program.
They left it in.
Yeah.
We need to Google that.
He just had a rant, completely forgot where he was at.
Find that clip
Loved
on YouTube. And I'm going to spend some time looking at the Sunday supplement piece as well, because I'll be interested to know a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes. Sometimes I think that they make too much of it, but obviously there are issues at the moment. Today's Tuesday.
It is.
If anybody didn't get to listen to the People's Poll, we did a show yesterday that revolves around the involvement of gambling in football, sort of from a sponsorship, advertising, infiltration of the game kind of point of view. That's timeless. It's not really FPL Game Week related, so do jump back and have a listen to that. No main podcast this week, so last night we watched Bournemouth against Arsenal, or Arsenal against Bournemouth.
What was the score?
I have no idea. We're pre-recording, mate. So that's on a live stream on YouTube, where we've also been discussing, and I'm future planning now, a lot of stuff around the FA Cup draw, what we can expect in terms of Game Week 31, 34 from a planning point of view, replays and all of that kind of stuff. So whilst we'll be watching the game in the background, there's going to be enough chat that I think will be interesting for you to tune back in on. And tomorrow we have
Sky
Fantasy Football. Thursday we have Clash of the Correspondents.
FPL Football at FPL Badger, Newcastle v Norwich.
Yes, and on Friday, more than likely, the Final Plan, where we'll be talking about game week, what is it, 25 now?
It will be.
25. I think a lot of people are looking at rolling into game week 26 now and not making any moves to game week 25, but there are quite a few yellow flags.
There was massive talk in the community at the moment about wild carding.
Yes, a lot of people are thinking
now's
about
not particularly the time or place to get into it. My question is, a lot of the players that people are wild carding into, Aguero's, Aubameyangs, etc., there's every chance they're going to miss this game week 28. I'd be very conscious again of cup ties, draws, etc., in terms of what could happen over the next few days. My
concern with wildcard right now is that the wildcard squads and teams that I'm seeing are very, very, very template. Everybody's going from the same pool of about 20, 25 players, even the cheapies and stuff. And I don't want to wildcard into a team that everybody else has got. I want to use it to be a little bit different. So now is not the time for me to be putting the trigger.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm in the same position.
We'll chat more. Well, we talked more about it in the live stream yesterday, let's say. Guys, thanks for tuning in to Tottenham. I know a lot of you that listen don't follow Spurs or West Ham. So we do appreciate all the people that do listen as general football fans. Hit like, subscribe and the notification bell if you do enjoy the show, and leave a comment if you agree or disagree with anything that we have spoken about.
Probably all of it.
Yes. We'll be back tomorrow with Sky Fantasy Football. Ciao for now.
Cue music, man, child.
The Fantasy Football Show.